The 1960s were all peace, love, and flower power. Unless you were behind the wheel of a death trap hot rod or part of a biker gang that solved problems with chains and sidecars. Today we're ditching the hippie vans and hitting the asphalt with some insane road fury grindhouse movies where the only rule is whoever crashes last wins.
There, Slim, now you can get as vocal as you want.
Russ Meyer's cult classic Faster Pussycat Kill Kill doesn't waste a second. It starts with go-go dancers, drag racing, and a cat fight before the opening credits even cool down. 3 women, led by the absolute force of nature that is Tura Satana, tear through the California desert like a feminist apocalypse on wheels. They're tough, stylish, and allergic to taking orders.
Like I don't beat clocks, just people.
Their road trip of destruction turns into a twisted kidnapping plot when they meet a rich old man and his muscle-bound, not quite all there son. What follows is part revenge story, part psychosexual showdown, and entirely 100% Grindhouse gold.
You girls a bunch of nudists, or you just, short of clothes?
Meyer shot it on a tiny budget in the middle of nowhere, but it became his masterpiece. A film that took the pulp energy of the drive-in circuit and turned it into something iconic. Tura Satana did most of her own stunts, choreographed her fights, and improvised some of the film's most vicious lines. She was so intense, Meyer reportedly said the crew was afraid of her, and it shows.
She's a cold one, all right.
It's campy, violent, and weirdly empowering. Like if Tarantino time traveled back to 1965 and decided to make Mad Max Go-Go Edition. If Faster Pussycat was the desert road to hell, the Sidehackers is the muddy detour that no one asked for but everyone remembers. It's about Rommel. Yes, Rommel, a good-natured mechanic and racer who just wants to live, love, and ride weird sidecar motorcycles.
Come on, ride with me.
Unfortunately, his girlfriend gets murdered by a jealous psycho, and suddenly this mellow racer turns into a vengeance-fueled dirt track angel of death. Sidehacking, by the way, was an actual sport. Motorcycles with sidecars that required one rider to lean dangerously off the side like they're trying to escape gravity itself.
What are you, an idiot or something? Huh?
And in this movie, it's basically an excuse for every race to look like a brawl on wheels. It starts off as a goofy racing flick, but halfway through, it slams the gas pedal into pure revenge melodrama. The tone shift is so wild, it feels like 2 movies duct taped together, and that's part of its charm. It was filmed for almost nothing, shot in rough terrain, and still somehow feels too ambitious for its own budget. But if you like your grindhouse with sweat, dirt, and emotional whiplash, the Sidehackers delivers, even if the only thing more dangerous than the racing is the script itself.
They live for kicks, love for kicks, kill for kicks.
If there was ever a movie that felt like it was written on the hood of a Camaro, it's The Wild Rebels. This one's about a washed-up stock car driver named Rod Tillman who accidentally becomes the world's least subtle undercover cop. After a gang of bikers called the Satan's Angels try to recruit him as their getaway driver for a string of robberies, the cops swoop in and convince him to go along with it to bring them down. So yeah, the plan is basically pretend to be a criminal until you're not. What could possibly go wrong? The result is equal parts drag strip drama and biker chaos. The gang robs banks, gets drunk, and generally behaves like a group of teenagers who stole a camera and a pile of dynamite. The movie is filled with car chases, shootouts, and that classic late 60s brand of moral panic that turns every hot rod into a symbol of sin. The dialogue is stiffer than a seatbelt in July, but the energy never lets up.
See you later, creep.
It's like Point Break if everyone had heat stroke and a hangover.
Catch your daddy!
What kind of animals are those?
If the title alone doesn't sell it, nothing will. Hot Rods to Hell is what happens when middle-class America meets a teenage demolition derby. Dana Andrews plays a mild-mannered family man who just wants a fresh start running a motel in the desert. Unfortunately for him, the road to paradise is lined with psychotic hot rodders who treat the highway like their personal Thunderdome. Every trip to the grocery store turns into Death Race 1967. What makes this one so fun is how seriously it takes itself. The family is terrified of the youth.
They have to be stopped, officer. They're going to kill somebody.
While the teens are all hopped up on rock and roll, gasoline fumes, and pure bad decisions. There's a weird tension between wholesome 1950s family values and the unhinged energy of late 60s rebellion. It's like Leave It to Beaver meets Mad Max the early years. The movie's filled with reckless stunts, screeching tires, and melodrama so thick you could spread it on toast. It's a perfect slice of carsploitation, a cautionary tale for parents, and a fantasy for anyone who ever wanted to flip off authority and burn rubber doing it. By the end, the message is clear. The road to hell is paved with good intentions, and a couple of hot rods are tailgating you all the way there. If you ever wanted to see a Disney racing movie after someone spiked the lemonade, Thunder Alley is your stop. Produced by American International Pictures, the same folks behind half the drive-in madness of the decade, including many other movies in this list, this one's got roaring engines, rock music, and just enough soap opera drama to qualify as a cautionary tale for speed addicts. The story follows Tommy Callahan, a stock car driver with a mysterious condition that makes him black out during races. Instead of, not driving, he doubles down, joins a racing team, and dives headfirst into a blur of fame, burnout, and fiery crashes. Because in the 60s, therapy was for quitters, and exploding engines were character development. It's got all the Grindhouse essentials, cheesy one-liners, a love triangle, and a soundtrack that sounds like the Beach Boys got stuck in a carburetor. The racing scenes are actually solid, full of real cars, real tracks, and surprisingly reckless camera work that makes you wonder how many cameramen survived the shoot. Thunder Alley might not be the bloodiest or wildest on the list, but it captures that sweet spot where speed becomes obsession and every victory lap feels one burnout away from disaster. If the Sidehackers was a bad day at the track, the Hellcats is a weekend in biker purgatory. Also known as Biker Babes, this one follows a soldier who goes undercover to bust the drug smuggling gang that killed his brother. The gang in question, a crew of free-spirited, leather-clad maniacs who spend most of the movie riding in circles, brawling, grab-assing, and throwing parties that look like they were catered by a hangover.
I'm gonna have to blast you.
It's got everything you want from a 60s biker flick. Dusty highways, seedy bars, and dialogue that sounds like it was written on the back of a gas receipt after too many beers.
Hey, is Humpty Dumpty horny hiney hurt?
The gang's name alone tells you what you're in for. The Hellcats don't ride for freedom or philosophy. They ride because sobriety is the real enemy. The movie drags a bit when it tries to be serious, but when it's in full chaos mode, roaring engines, ridiculous fights, and questionable dance scenes, it's glorious trash. It's also one of those films that's so cheap it feels almost homemade, like someone filmed their cousin's biker club and added a plot in post.
Incurable stupidity.
It's rough, loud, and unintentionally hilarious.
No. No. No.
A perfect example of how the late 60s drive-in circuit was less about storytelling and more about seeing how many times you could rev the engine before the film caught fire. If you took a Western, swapped the horses for Harleys, and added twice the sunburn, you'd get Hell's Bells. The setup is simple. A guy named Dan wins a shiny new motorcycle in a race, only to have it stolen by a rival, who promptly loses it to a biker gang.
Back off, redneck, or it's game time.
So Dan sets off across the Arizona desert to get it back, reluctantly dragging along one of the gang leader's girlfriends, who might be as dangerous as the gang itself. It's a classic man, machine, and mayhem flick, with dusty bike chases, gas station explosions, and fist fights breaking out every 5 minutes. The whole thing plays like a sweaty road trip through bad decisions and leather jackets.
This is just the beginning, friend!
There's barely a plot, but who needs one when you've got backwards walking Gila monsters, biker chicks getting spanked, stuntmen who probably died, and gas-huffing degenerates getting clotheslined. The gang looks like they wandered in from 5 different movies, and everyone's priorities seem to shift depending on how full their gas tank is. Hell's Bells isn't deep, but it's fast, loud, and baked in pure 60s drive-in energy. It's the kind of movie that makes you want to put on sunglasses, ignore common sense, and find out what happens when the open road stops being free and starts getting personal.
Please, don't do that.
How about a pretty please on your knees?
If every road movie on this list is a little weird, The Born Losers is the one that forgot the brakes entirely. This one introduced the world to Billy Jack. Before he was a barefoot martial arts messiah, he was just a loner with a motorcycle, a bad attitude, and the unfortunate luck of living near the meanest biker gang in California.
Sir, you have a problem over here.
When the gang rolls into a small town and starts terrorizing the locals, Billy steps in to clean up, which in Grindhouse terms means a lot of brawling, gunfire, and scenes that probably smelled like motor oil and regret. The gang themselves are pure chaos. A bunch of leather-clad, beer-fueled road rats who treat crime like it's a team sport. Every time they show up, it feels like someone put Rebel Without a Cause in a blender with a police blotter. Banned in Sweden for its violence, The Born Losers walks the line between genuine menace and total exploitation madness. It's sleazy, angry, and somehow still managed to launch a franchise. You can feel it straining to be serious about social issues, but every time someone throws a punch, it forgets and turns back into a biker free-for-all. It's part Western, part biker flick, and all attitude. And by the time the dust settles, one thing's clear. On these roads, being a born loser is just another way of saying you survived the ride.
I don't think you like us, buddy. But she is gonna love us. You slimy!
If Faster Pussycat Kill Kill is Russ Meyer's ode to violent women, Motorpsycho is his love letter to violent men. And love letter might be putting it kindly. This one follows a trio of deranged bikers tearing through the desert, assaulting and terrorizing everyone unlucky enough to cross their path. When they attack the wife of a mild-mannered veterinarian, he teams up with a woman the gang also brutalized, and together they set out to get even. Slowly, awkwardly, and with the determination of 2 people running entirely on anger and bad luck.
2 down, 1 to go.
Think less Charles Bronson and more guy who's never thrown a punch but really means it this time. It's grimy, mean, and shockingly brutal for 1965. You can feel Meyer testing how far he could push audiences before they ran for the exits. And apparently, the answer was pretty far.
Suck it out! Suck it some more!
The film moves like a fever dream. Long stretches of dusty roads, weird sexual tension, and bursts of violence that hit like a tire iron to the skull. Motorpsycho might not have the iconic swagger of Faster Pussycat, but it's got the same raw, snarling spirit, just with less eyeliner and more concussions. It's exploitation stripped down to the bone. No heroes, no happy endings, just horsepower and hatred burning up the open road.
It's a damn shame to mess up a nice bike like that, huh?
If you thought biker gangs were just leather jackets and pissing contests, She-Devils on Wheels flips the script and the handlebars with a full-on all-female motorcycle gang called the Man-Eaters. Directed by Herschell Gordon Lewis, the godfather of gore, this one trades buckets of blood for a mix of blood and burnt rubber. It follows the Man-Eaters as they race, brawl, and humiliate any guy dumb enough to challenge them. Their motto might as well be no breaks, no rules, no boyfriends.
We got a surprise for you.
The leader, Queen, runs the gang with an iron grip and a louder engine. Their turf includes dusty airstrips, small town streets, and a grungy clubhouse where the parties get so wild they'd make Caligula blush. When they're not racing, they're enforcing a strict code that bans romance and rewards debauchery and chaos. Basically a feminist fever dream filtered through a cloud of exhaust and body glitter. The acting feels like everyone learned their lines at a stoplight, but the energy is pure drive-in anarchy. There's revenge, rivalry, and just enough sincerity and terrible poetry to make you think it almost means something. She-Devils on Wheels is more than just girl power. It's girl horsepower, and it leaves the rest of the 60s eating gravel. So there you have it, 10 twisted tales of speed, sweat, and pure road fury chaos. From go-go girls and sidecar psychos to leather-clad lunatics and the man-eaters who outdrove them all, these movies prove the 60s not only had a counterculture, it had a death wish on wheels. If you made it this far without crashing, hit that like button, drop your favorite ride or die Grindhouse flick in the comments, and subscribe for more cinematic carnage. Thanks for watching.